And November 22nd, 1963 was also the day that changed the future of Orlando. That was the day that Walt Disney flew over the land that would one day become Disney World. It's known by some as the X marks the spot day. In the early 1960s, Walt Disney was looking to expand his multimedia empire. Disneyland in California had opened back in 1955, but the park was landlocked.
We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish.
So in mid-November, Walt came to Florida and drove to numerous sites. He checked out Ocala and Daytona Beach. He also looked along the coast near Tampa, but decided that he didn't want competition from the beach for tourism dollars. So he boarded his plane the morning of November 22nd, 1963 to fly back to California. He asked the pilot to fly over the small town of Orlando one last time, where he saw all the highways merging just south of town.
Of course, that's the magic of Walt Disney himself, right? He was a visionary that saw things that other people didn't see.
When he saw thousands of acres of undeveloped swampland right in the middle of the major highways being developed, he looked out the window, put an X on the map and said, "That's it."
12,500 acres. And my father, with a group of businessmen, decided they would spec some land. And after they spent a year making mortgage payments on it, they said, "What the hell did we buy this land for?"
The land that he noticed was owned by the Dimitri brothers.
The reason it was one of the first ones is because Walt Disney literally was flying over the land, looking at Ocala, and when he came over to Orlando, he saw the wetlands on our property and said, "That's Tom Sawyer's Island." So what was lemons for us was lemonade for Walt Disney.
As you can see on this map, we have a perfect location in Florida, almost in the very center of the state.
Now the day takes on an even more historical significance because when Disney landed in New Orleans to refuel, he got off the plane and was informed that the president had just died. In the weeks and months after, Disney began putting his plans together to build a theme park for the future.
There was a quote that my dad said that I'd love to share. God made a lot of it, so don't get too attached to land. Wish we had gotten a little more attached to this piece. Because if that was truly Tom Sawyer's Island, we would have been the holdout. But there is a lot of land out there, and luckily Walt Disney chose this tract.
Lucky for all of us, right? Now, Disney didn't live to see the theme parks open in 1971 because he died a few years after he picked that piece of property. But on this day that changed the course of American history in Dallas, Disney also changed history for the entire Orlando area thanks to a piece of land in the middle of a Florida swamp and then the X.